Hey guys, Redman 91007 here from HookahPro.com. I'm finally doing my Cloud Lotus review. So I've had this thing for almost 2 weeks now, and I've literally have not used anything but the Lotus for 2 weeks, except when I used the Apple on top for one session. But besides that, like, even when I wasn't smoking at home, I brought my Lotus with me. So I've been using this a hell of a lot. I'm talking with the hose, and instead of doing this, I'm going to smoke it and show you guys how it's going. I'm smoking some Tangiers, White Summer Mixed Fruit. If you guys watched my how-to Tangiers Lotus video, I lied. I said I was going to do my review on that session. Didn't end up happening, so White Summer Mixed Fruit, Berkut in there. Here's how it's going. It's not fully there yet. Smoking for like 15-20 minutes, I think. So the clouds are still working their way up, but I'm very happy. I'll show you maybe a better angle here. They're pretty dense still, not bad at all for Tangiers, and I think they will, even during the session, they will still get bigger. Alright, so the Lotus. I've already babbled for like a good minute here. So I was, as many of you are, and many of you were, very skeptical about the Lotus at first. All I knew about Cloud was they had their I think it's Essence, if I'm not mistaken, it's called that. It's that base additive that filters the smoke, changes the flavor, and it was apparently a bust. Everyone I know pretty much who tried it thought it was a waste of money, it was no good. So when this came out, a lot of people were very skeptical because it was made by the same company, but a lot of people's minds were changed. I did not pre-order it, unfortunately. I waited. I paid full price for this. I did. And I'm going to say this right away before I even start reviewing it. I believe it's worth the money. Now, I've used it with several different bowls. I've used it with an Egyptian bowl with some alfachar, and that smoked fantastic. I've used it with my Crown Micro, which was okay. I wouldn't really recommend using a Crown bowl if you don't have to. I found the metal on the glass, it would slide around a little bit, and it kind of, not to the point where it was going to fall off, but it made me nervous. You should knock in that the Lotus might sway a little bit. Right now I'm using it on my Suka Swells bowl, which has been my favorite combination so far, and a lot of people really enjoy using the Power Bowl with it. I had a few sessions with that as well. When it comes to size, that's definitely my least favorite thing about the Lotus. Is it is fairly big. A good example, using this Offmani, this is a 50-gram pack of Offmani. Thank you to DJ James for telling me about this. He told me the size of the Lotus is basically the size of this. So before I even got the Lotus, I was trying it out with all kinds of different bowls, sticking this on top. So if you have some of these lying around, go ahead, try it out on your bowls, see if it's going to fit. But it should fit at least some of your Egyptian bowls that you guys have, and it works fantastic with that. So that's the only thing, is it doesn't fit all bowls. So that's something you need to know going into this. They do say as long as one or two of the vents on the bottom are over the tobacco, it should work fine. I know some people that used it on a Pico bowl, which in my opinion is just ridiculous. I mean, I'll show it to you with the Offmani thing on top. It looks like it's wearing a hat, and it's way too big. But apparently it still does work, granted not as well. So you can use it with a lot of different bowls. Will it look ridiculous or smoke as well? Who knows? So yeah, there's that. Now, some of the claims I was hearing is that, first of all, it makes your coals last longer. For me, I 100% agree. I can get my coals, I'm using Coconaras. They usually last, for me, about a solid 50 minutes to an hour before I need new ones. They're not putting out enough heat. Now I'm getting close to an hour and a half on a round of coals. Even after that hour and a half, they're still bigger than they normally would be. But they're still there's not enough heat there to really get the Lotus hot enough. I'm using 2 Coconaras, by the way, in my Lotus, as I mentioned in my packing video. So that is great. Now, the reason I believe is because there's no air coming through the coals itself, so there's no, you're not going to be burning them faster. It's just, they're going to burn at their normal rate. And I do want to mention that, especially with these are not a very good batch. The bottoms will get black. So maybe after 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes, I'll just flip them over and we're good to go again for another 20, 30 minutes. or so. So there's that as well. So I definitely agree. They do last longer. The other thing people were saying is it's cleaner. Take another pull. I didn't notice it until I used a different product, which was the Apple on Top Bowl, where it's a screen with holes everywhere, and I was noticing that cold taste. Now, not to say that that's a bad product, because it's not, and I will be reviewing that when the new one comes out. But it's just, you taste the coal a little bit. Same thing with foil, especially on your second round of coals, which is my next point about the Lotus. You do get a little bit of coal taste, and that's something I really don't like. I like it just to have that pure tobacco flavor, whatever flavor you may happen to be smoking. So now, yes, that's a little bit cleaner. The coals last longer. Those are two of the biggest things. Now, my favorite thing about the Lotus is just how easy it is to heat manage. Now, I have been, smoking for a while. I have my heat management down. I can smoke and don't need to purge, no problem. However, with the Lotus, it's just so freaking easy. I plop my two coals in there, let it heat up. I know it's a little hot, a little flick on the what's it called here? On the lid, whatever. Move it, open the vents a little bit, and bingo, perfect. When it comes to smoking Tangiers, which I do about 90% of the time, putting a second round on Tangiers is a very common thing. A lot of people do it. It is a long-lasting tobacco. But I always found that when I put my second round on, I'd either have to Stonehenge the coals or really be careful with my heat management. With the Lotus, no problem. I can just throw those new coals in there, and because it takes time to heat the Lotus up, for the heat from the coals to transfer through the Lotus to the tobacco, you won't be able to, or essentially the Lotus stops you from shocking the tobacco, which will stop you from getting that burnt, harsh, or coal-like taste, which is quite unpleasant. And even when you do have your heat management down, as I said, I believe I did, there's still very small periods of time where you will notice this, and you'll have to make some adjustments. I've never had any of those issues with the Lotus. I feel like I'm forgetting some things I did want to talk about. I'm not showing it to you guys in this video because it is hot as freaking hell right now on top of my bowl. If you want to see it close up, you can go watch my packing video. Or just go on Google, look it up. There's plenty of good pictures of it. I have one of the newer models, so the screws on the bottom are flush, which is nice. It will make it fit easier on pretty much any bowl. So, I'm sure there's a few little pointers I'm forgetting, but overall, I think I've mentioned my favorite things about it. It really makes heat management easy. I prefer the taste. It just makes everything so much simpler. My packing time is reduced. Don't need to poke foil, so which means I don't need to use foil, because I don't need to waste money on foil. This all adds up. It makes my coals last longer, so I'm saving money on coal. And I do believe that the tobacco lasts a little bit longer with it as well. Not significantly longer. I mean, I go 2 rounds and I still feel like the flavor will be dying out, which is what I normally get. But I probably could throw a third round on there and get more flavor out of it than I would with foil. So I'm going to basically wrap this up now. I'm already at about 9 minutes. And you guys are probably bored and haven't watched the whole thing anyway. So, my rating for the Lotus is going to be 9.5 out of 10. It is almost perfect. In my opinion, it is the best hookah purchase I've ever made since I got natural coals. Since I switched from quick light coals, went to natural coals, this is the biggest impact. Any bowl, pipe, hose, tobacco, doesn't matter. This is my favorite. It really, really does what it says it does. And I mean, take it from me, if you guys trust my reviews. I mean, like I said, I paid for this. There's no reason for me to be biased. I freaking love this thing, and I would go out and buy a second one, even with having this. The only reason I did deduct a point, or half a point rather, is because it is not compatible with every single bowl. And I think there is some room for improvement. Besides the size that they could maybe change, come up with a few different ones, the only other thing I'd like to see them do is potentially have the top part, the screen, have some kind of locking mechanism so that it's not just loose on the bowl. So let's say someone did hit my hookah over, knock it, and the Lotus went flying, that the lid wouldn't come off and the coals would go everywhere. Instead, they would stay contained in the Lotus, probably stop some things from burning. I think that'd be a cool little addition as well. Not needed. So half a point. Fantastic, fantastic product. I highly recommend you can go pick this up. You can get it at pretty much any of your favorite vendors directly from the Kaloud website. It's spelled Kaloud. You can see it up in the title. 5-Star Hookah has it. Ultimate Hookah has it. All the pretty much big vendors do. And just go out and buy one. If you've been hesitating and you're watching this video, there's nothing anyone can say to convince you. Just please go buy it. You will love it. And if you don't, send it to me. I'll buy it from you in a heartbeat. Anyway, I think that's all I got for you guys today. So please, as I've been mentioning in all my videos, comment. I really do like talking to you guys about this stuff. Like, subscribe, helps me out. Catch you guys later.